discuss the principles of subject cataloging. We have been already discussing the general principles of subject cataloging. You know, the subject cataloging is one of the important areas of the cataloging in which we talk of the subjects, how to determine the subjects of different kinds of these documents, and then try to identify the different contents or the areas that are being described in a particular document, and then we assign a suitable subject heading. That suitable subject heading has to be assigned from a particular standardized or authoritative list, which we have already discussed that these are like the Sears list of subject heading lists or Library of Congress subject heading lists, or there can be some subject specific subject heading lists. Like we have discussed that medical subject heading, agriculture subject heading lists. And this subject catalog is being, uh, whenever we talk of the subject cataloging, it is being modulated and regulated by some guidelines, by some principles, which are basically of two categories: general principles and specific principles. General principles we have already discussed it, that there are 9 general principles of subject cataloging, which are telling the library cataloger that what important things has to be kept in mind whenever there is any kind of you know uh, terminology, description, and access points given to a particular subject category or subject documents in case of subject cataloging. And the most important group or category of principles in the subject cataloging is the specific principles. Why specific principles? Because the specific principles are directly dealing with the entries of different subject headings which are available in different lists of subject heading categories like CS list or Library of Congress. So that is why this specific principle category describes the more specific terms, the terms, the phrases, the different kinds of these synthetical principles, whereby the usage of these different kinds of these terms can be used by the different catalogers, so that there can be a suitability of the words, there can be proper terminology that can be used, and there can be the exact description in represented in the cross references. So that is why the specific principles are much more important as compared to the general principles. So let us discuss these specific principles one by one. First, there are broadly 6 categories of specific principles of subject cataloging: user and usage, which is again very important not only in general but also in specific principles of subject cataloging, because we can never escape or remove the importance of the user in the library show, because whatever libraries are doing, whatever the activities or tasks the libraries are performing, they are all revolving around the users, their needs, their ease of accessibility of the information, their satisfaction, and their overall behavior of seeking the information from the libraries. Then uniform headings, then the third is unique headings, and then specific entry, cross references, and the last which we will be discussing in the specific principle is the phase relationships. So these 6 specific principles which we will be discussing in this particular video, so that you can be in a position to understand the overall specific guidelines in subject catalog. So let us discuss these one by one. First is, which we already discussed in the general principle of subject cataloging, that user is ultimate authority, ultimate patron in the library. We have to think in the lines of the user, because whatever changes we are going to make in any catalog code, what if sometimes there is any need that may arise because of the changes in the code. So every time we have to take into account the user and his requirements, his needs, and ultimate action of every library has to be revolved around the users. So that is why user is, you have to take into account this, the user. And then second is the usage. In the earlier specific general principle of subject cataloging, we have discussed the common usage. The same guideline or the principle is represented in case of the specific principle of subject cataloging, where we talk of the usage or the terms or the language that the users are better understanding and they are using in their day-to-day life. It should not be that one should assign that particular term which should not be understandable by the users. So definitely one has to take care the users first and then assign a particular heading, particular description in the vocabulary, in the indexing language of a particular information retrieval system or a catalog. So the user has to be kept in mind, and his or her usage has to be also kept in mind whenever any kind of subject description or accessibility is being undertaken in subject catalog. Then the uniform headings. There are different kinds of these terms which are creating confusion among the catalogers, that when a particular heading, when a particular term should be used. So this principle helps us in that aspect, where it tells that only those kinds of these headings should be used which has been decided by the earlier, at the first instance has been used, and then they have to be used uniformly. Say for example, if we talk of the synonymous terms, so if a particular term has been used by the cataloger, it has to be used consistently, it has to be used uniformly. There should not be any kind of change in the future terminologies or the future documents. Say for example, if a particular cataloger has used the term intellect, he has to use intellect every time. He has he has not to be used with its synonym term like mind, brain, comprehension. In the similar manner, if we talk of the disaster, it has to be used as such. It should not be represented with the synonymous terms. So only one term, and it has to be used that term for all the different kinds of these entities which are being described by the catalogers. Then similar is the case with the variant spellings. Whenever there are multiple spellings, it is always an issue in case of UK English and US English, and sometimes there are other regional variations in case of the spellings. So these have to be sorted out, that if you are using a particular spelling for a particular word, particular term, it has to be used uniformly. You can't use at one instance one kind of spelling and then you can use another kind of spelling in another instance. So this principle says that whenever we are talking of the headings, it has to be uniformly assigned. So like I have taken the example like color, COLOUR. So definitely you have to use every time color. Now if you are using, say for example, COLOR, there is no issue. It has to be used uniformly. In the similar case which I have cited some of the examples there. So in all these different kinds of these cases, only one term has to be assigned. Only one spelling has to be assigned to the documents. That has to be used then consistently. In the similar term, like for example, we talk of the foreign terms and the local terms. Like sometimes in the languages we use normally the Latin words, some of the other language words. At that time, one has to decide normally if what type of library the catalog is being compiled, the kind of users who are available there in the library, who are using the library, and then decide if they have to use the foreign terms or they have to use the local terms. Like say for example, we talk of the terminology that I have used, la porcina de la lingua. So this is perhaps the Turkish language. I am not sure, but the local term for a public library, it should be like the normal language which we are using in English is the question of the language. Similarly, per diem. we can use for each day. So the foreign term as well as the local term, it has to be used uniformly. The most feasible thing in case of the public library, it is being said that the local term should be much more usable, feasible. It can be definitely for the academic libraries, can be for the special libraries, depends upon the users, kind of users who are using the library catalog. In the similar manner, we talk of the technical terms or the popular terms. So when there is a subject specific library, a library which is more of a specialized nature, where the users are specialized, it can be a subject based library. Technical terms are much more feasible. Technically, we can assign some of the headings so that there will not be any kind of issue in searching by the users. While as if there is a public library, if there is a library which is being used by the common masses, so at that time definitely the technical terms should be avoided and the popular terms should be used. In any case, whatever you are using, if you are using the terminologies of technical terms, you can use it. If you are using the popular terms, you can use it. But the thing is that based on the feasibility, based on the kind of the user which are available in the life. So, like I have given the example, ornithology. So, the people from the zoology subjects they can understand it easily, but the common people can understand the study of birds. Similarly, in ecology, the medical science people can understand the term very easily, but definitely the common people can understand the study of kidney. It can be oncology, it can be some subjects in the agriculture field, it can be some subjects in the life science field, which we people can easily understand, but others can not be easily understandable as because it can be technical related to the subject. So definitely one has to uniformly use a suitable term. Then we have another category of the terms which is absolute terms versus current terms. So in both cases, one should try to use, which is being said every time that the current terms should be used. But maybe sometimes some suitable term may be using, which may be the absolute term. Like say for example, if we are talking about the libraries, library economy, library leadership, library information science. So definitely the current term is the library information science. The old terms, absolute terms are the library economy, library leadership, and there can be some other terms. In a similar manner, when we talk of the bibliometrics, the current form of term, bibliometrics, centrometrics, informatics, bibliometrics, the earlier form of terms which are now absolute in nature, which are being less used, the aesthetical, bibliography, grammetry. So definitely if you are using the absolute term, it has to be used continuously. But the feasible thing is that usage of the current terms because they are much more in use. So here one has to decide, and then these terms have to be used uniformly. That is basically the essence of the uniform heading principle. Then the third principle, which is the unique headings. As the name indicates, the unique means which is not common, where only one kind of word or a term should be used. It should not be used in multiple contexts and multiple meanings. It should be always one. There should be always a oneness of the terms. So that is, in that context, the principle says that the headings that we are assigning for subject catalog, they should be always unique. There should not be any duplication of the term. There should not be multiple contexts of the terms. Like, if say for example, such type of these homograph terms, which are homographs in nature, we say for example, we talk of the, these terms, which it can be, having two connotations, although multiple connotations may be possible, but one can infer that the term or the subject is regarding the cricket. Or others may understand that it can be related to the music of audio. So by giving the short description in the braces, a user is easily able to understand that this term is related to the cricket. This term is related to the music. So definitely it gives a uniqueness to a particular term. So the other terms like I mentioned, the tank, then Venus, then styles, then cold, all these different kinds of these terms which are homographic in nature, they can be described uniquely when there is any short description in places, or it can be in another form, so that the users may easily understand that this term is related to this particular aspect, this particular phenomenon. So this brings the uniformity, this brings the uniqueness in the system. There will not be confusion, in the system whereby one term will not connotate to the multiple contexts or multiple, concepts. So this unique principle says that the headings which are to be assigned to a particular document in a subject catalog, they should be unique. They should not be conveying the multiple meanings. Then specific entry, which is one of the important principles of CS list of subject headings, that the description, that the subject heading which one is assigning to the documents, they should be as particular, as narrow as possible. Why? Because it is here that I was discussing in my previous lectures, where I told you that the subject and the specific subject has to be differentiated. In the sense, because subject is a generalized term, while a specific subject is that related to the contents of the document. So this specific principle says that the heading or the term which we are assigning for the subject catalog, it should reflect the text of the document, the contents of the document, intellectual ideas that have been described in the book itself. So that is why specificity is there, specificity of the headings. Like I have cited some of the examples. There is a book which is on, on cows. So why to mention domestic animals? Why not to directly say book on cows? Why to say domestic animals? Why to give confusion? Why to give some broader heading to the document so that users will not be directly, getting the document. So in the similar manner, when we talk of a document which is, discussing some of the features of, physiology, habitus of ostrich. So we should directly assign the heading ostrich, not the flightless birds, or some other general category of the term. In the similar manner, citation analysis, in the similar manner, canons of library classification, in the similar manner, software association and SPSS. So the principle says that one has to be more specific, one has to be much more, particular in assigning a suitable subject heading, so that the actual contents of the document can be represented in the heading, in the phrase which we are assigned. So this is the principle of specific entry, which says the entry or the description or the heading assigned to a particular document, it should be as specific as possible. This is the fifth principle, which is related to the cross references, where it says that whenever the assignment of the subject headings, suitable subject headings to the documents are being undertaken, it has to be undertaken with respect to the cross references. Cross references are very important in order to give relationship, in order to draw the mapping of the concepts or subjects. Currently, the scenario is where subjects are multifarious in nature. They deal with multiple aspects, multiple areas of knowledge. One area of knowledge is having its boundaries, having its limited coverage in multiple universe of ideas. One idea relates with the other. In the similar manner, this is a complex phenomenon whereby the subjects are assimilating to each other, they are having similarities, they are having dissimilarities, they are related to each other. One subject may have some relationship with the other. At some instances, there can be some relationship with with different subjects. And other subjects, there can be other kind of relationship between the subject. It is situational again, because knowledge as such is a dynamic entity. It is always where dynamics of the knowledge occurs with respect to the time. So, in case of these cross references, we normally say there are three categories of references which are being used in case of the maximum list of subject heading. adjectives, and which are again used in thesaurus also, and which we also use in subject cataloging. One is C, or we can also see it as a use reference. Second is use of the C also, and the third is general reference. So let us first see the first cross reference, which is C. In case of the C or use reference, my dear students, you have to remember that it is from an unauthorized heading to an authorized heading. What does that mean? You can see it as a preferred term to the non-preferred, non-preferred term to the preferred term. That means these C or use references will help you, will direct you, will give you direction that the heading that is represented here is unpreferred term, and wherever it is referring, that is a preferred term. That you can see because it is always in bold, letters. So the bold headings are always the actuals preferred or authorized headings. But in case of the CRC also references, this kind of reference shows the unauthorized, unpreferred and non-preferred terms to the preferred terms. Like, say for example, I will give the example, school media centers. School media centers is a heading, but it is not so much preferred as compared to the instructional material centers. In the similar manner, vintage motorcycles, we can talk of the authorized or preferred term, antique and vintage. So such kind of references are available in CRS list. Such kind of references are again available in thesaurus and are also available in library of Congress subject reading. Where from non-preferred terms, the direction is given to the preferred term. Then we have C also references, which will always say that these are the related headings whereby a term is being related with its narrower term, with its broader term, with its related term. So these three terms you might be knowing, you might have read, at multiple occasions, that in case of C also references, we talk of the broader term, we talk of the narrower term, we talk of the related term. Let us see some of the examples like I have given. In the broader term category, let us see like apes. Its broader term may be primates. In the similar manner, in case of the toes, its broader term can be foot. In the similar manner, bibliomatics, narrow term can be citation, because citation is part of the bibliomatics. In case of the collection development, narrow term can be acquisition, because collection development is a broader term. It starts with the acquisition, it starts with the selection of document and it completes, when we talk about the shelving of documents. So many different kinds of the processes are being involved in the collection development, and acquisition is one of the parts, one of the activities of the collection development. In the similar manner, when we talk of the related things, carpets, related term, rugs, because category of these carpets, sports, and related term, athletes. So this is broader term, narrower term, and related term. In the similar manner, there can be so many examples which you can cite in the C also references. Then the third category of references is the general references, which are mostly covering an entire category of headings or of headings. It is not a specific heading but to a general group. It is simply a kind of reference which gives a short description, which gives something which has not been covered in C and C also. Like, say for example, I have given the example clothing and dress. So clothing, it can be and dressing, it can be the heading, it can be a preferred term, but types of clothing, articles and accessories, it is an additional kind of thing which neither C, it can be included in the C, nor it can be included in the C also reference. So those references are some situations or for some some specific terms. These type of references are being given, like the flowers. So flowers can be related to the horticulture. They can be related to the types of these families wherever the particular flower belongs. But the general reference can be given related to the types of flowers, because there can be so many different kinds of these flowers. So there are three kinds of these references, cross references, which we are witnessing in different kinds of these list of subject headings. One is C or use reference, second is C also, and the third is general reference. Then the last principle of the specific uh, principles of subject cataloging are the peers relationships. This is a topic which needs a separate discussion, which needs a separate presentation, because this is related to the library classification. I am teaching library classification as well. So peers relation in case of the cataloging and the classification, they are a similar kind of connotation is here, because in case of the library classification subject catalog, we always talk of the similarity in terms of identification of the subject. In classification, we try to analyze the subject, we try to find the title and then different facets, different components of the particular title, break it down, and then find the isolates, and then the basic subjects, assign class numbers, and then merge them together. So in case of the subject catalog, we again do the similar kind of thing. We try to analyze the title, we try to analyze the document, the contents of the document, and then uh, assign a suitable subject heading from any list of subject headings. So in that context, they are similar. So why peers relation principle is there in case of the subject catalog as well as in case of the library classification. In case of the peers relation, should always talk of the complex subjects when there are more than two subjects or one subject, one basic subject. There, the situation arises which basic subject is to be preferred over the other. If there is a situation of A and B, two basic subjects are there. If A is to be given preference as compared to B, or B is given to preference than A, so there are these phase relationships which are helping to understand the situation between these with more than one basic subject. So there are six relationships whereby we understand the complex subjects. We try to identify which subject is to be preferred and which not to be preferred. And this is in case of library classification, and this is again also in case of the subject catalog. So like there are six categories of peer relationships. The first one is general peer relationship. A kind of relationship where there is specifically not mentioned what is in between, what is going to be existing between two subjects. Like we talk of the knowledge management and library management. A general kind of relationship between the two subjects can occur in a document. Political science and information, international relations. In the similar manner, there can be other subject examples whereby two basic subjects are having a general peer relationship. In the similar manner, we have another peers relationship where influence peers relationship, where one of the subject is having any kind of influence over the other, like the role of demography in geography. So here, the influence of demography on geography. So definitely geography and demography, they are to be studied with the respect to the influence that is being drawn by the demography of the geography. In the similar manner, we talk of the role of sociology in education. What is the role of sociology in education? Then we have another kind of relationship which is existing between the basic subjects is the bias or prejudice phase relationship. Whenever there is any kind of biasness, whenever there is any kind of prejudice between subjects, it gives the relationship which we are seeing as a bias relationship, bias based relationship, or prejudice based relationship. Like thermodynamics for physical scientists. Here, the term "for" basically represents the biasness. One given prejudice to the other. So thermodynamics specifically meant for the physical scientists. Similarly, computer sciences are the computers and their utility are the literary authors, those who are writing mostly the fictitious material. So the use of the computers or the computer as such softwares that they can use in writing, in editing their their contents or texts. So this relationship is the bias phase relationship or prejudice phase relationship. Then we talk of the tool or application phase relationship, where we study the relationship between more than one basic subjects in terms of when one is used as a tool or application, like use of maths in arts, like use of IT, use of computers, use of any kind of specific software in a particular subject. So when a subject exists as as a tool, as an application with for the understanding of the other subject. Then comparison creates relationship when when there is a comparison between the two subjects like geography and geology, Asian literature, Asian literature, because in Asian countries, all the different kinds of literature, it can be drama, it can be novel, it can be any other fictitious material. While when you compare with indigenous, within outside a particular among different kinds of these countries, or type of the different kinds of the literature. Then sociology and anthropology. Comparing religion as such, you compare all the religions together. So this is the comparison phase relationship whereby the two subjects are to be understood, are to be understandable, are to be discussed or analyzed on the basis of the comparison. Then difference phase relationship. That kind of relationship which is existing among subjects where there is any kind of difference between the two, like the difference between religion and science. It is a relationship which is describing the difference between the religion and sciences. Then differences between the psychology and sociology, the relationship which exists on the basis of the differences between two subjects. It's a difference-based relationship. So this is again very important in case of the subject cataloging, where one has to understand that when there are multiple subjects, one has to assign a suitable subject heading based on these 6 relationships that are existing among the subjects. And this is all for the specific principles of subject catalog. Dear students, thank you for watching the video, and I hope you understand the concept of the subject cataloging, general and specific principles of subject cataloging. Still, if any one of you have any confusion, you are all welcome to communicate, to clear your doubts and clarifications. I'm always available, for you people. Thank you very much. So nice of you. God bless you all.